When shouldn't you drink a hot beverage?
When?
When it's not your cup of tea.
Hungry Squared, bringing you the best food talk anywhere.
Welcome to the Hungry Squared podcast, where the brain and belly meet. I'm Sharon from the Wasatch Cooking Guide.
And I'm Winter from theredparty.com. This week, we are talking about hue-gah. Hue-gah? Hue-gah?
Hygge.
Okay.
That's the American way to pronounce it.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Hungry Squared, yeah, Hungry Squared.
Hey, Sharon, what'd you eat this week?
I ate a parole violator sandwich.
What?
Me and a couple of friends went to the Serving Time Cafe at the Utah State Prison.
Oh my gosh. Really?
At the point of the mountain, which for those of you who aren't local to Utah, the point of the mountain is where the largest Utah State Prison is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in Bluffdale, Utah.
And they have a restaurant.
They do. It's
think
right next to the administrative offices.
I don't think I knew that.
It's open 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. weekdays. And they serve breakfast and lunch.
Really?
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Yes, I had a parole violator sandwich, which was a chicken sandwich with some onion rings on it. But it was super good.
Oh, good.
And if you get there early enough, I highly encourage you to get a cookie. They have some of the best cookies you'll ever have.
Really?
Yes, but you have to get there early. We got there around noon and they were all gone.
They were gone.
Yeah.
Okay. Who goes out there?
People. It's busy.
Is it?
People get to go. They have a patio seating and they have limited seating inside. It's only a few tables.
Okay, wait. We got to back
up. They
up.
turn over pretty quickly.
Oh, really quickly. I need to just back up for a second. Who makes the food?
Inmates.
Really? So they
I
do.
think so. It's kind of like a transition for them. It's people who are almost finished serving their sentence and everybody's super kind there. It's all women. Mm-hmm. So I think it's like there's a women's facility there. Mm-hmm. Detention facility. And so it's all women. They're all super kind, super nice. And the customer service is top notch.
Really?
Kind of because it has to be.
Yeah.
I would assume. But there's law enforcement officers all around there. Like, the prison guards and state troopers eat there and stuff like that. And they have supervising staff there too,
mm-hmm.
So it's totally safe. Everybody's really nice and you get good food.
Okay. Well, if you're in the state, I've come try it out.
Totally.
I can't. I need to go try it out. I've never been out
8 to
there
2
before.
On the weekdays. So you have to kind of have a day off or just make a special trip for lunch, I think.
Or breakfast.
Yeah. What did you eat this week, Winter?
So we had I think on last week's episode, we talked about gingerbread.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I talked about Lebkuchen. I can't say it right. I'm sorry. But
whatever that name is.
Yeah. One of our listeners and one of my friends, she brought me some Lebkuchen because she lived in Germany for a few years and is all about the German culture and everything. So she brought me some gingerbread. That was actually, it was a soft gingerbread.
Oh.
Super flavorful.
Really?
And it was covered in a chocolate.
That's my kind of gingerbread.
Right? It was
Yum.
like they were just like these soft gingerbread cookies and it was really good and flavorful. I don't think I've had that good of a gingerbread before because I always get like the snappy kind of
and sometimes
gingerbread.
The flavor can fall flat with the snappy
mm-hmm.
kind.
Mm-hmm.
It just
Yeah, but this one was a soft cookie and it was delicious. So thank you so much, Karma, for sharing with me.
Yummy.
And now for the main course.
Okay, our first topic at hand today is hue-gah.
Hue-gah.
You might wonder what that word is.
What is that word? Okay, well, I know because we kind of talked a little bit about it beforehand, but I did not know what it meant.
So it's a Danish word and it's spelled Hygge.
Yes.
But it's pronounced hue-gah, but that g sound is kind of more guttural and I can't do it. And you do something weird with your lips that I can't quite do. But basically, that's the American pronunciation is hue-gah.
Okay. And why are we talking about this? Because,
baby, it's cold outside.
Oh, man. You guys, we have... So every single year, we kind of have to go on this topic because every single year I struggle with how cold and dark it gets here. And my name is Winter, for heaven's sake. For heaven's sakes.
And it's not your favorite season?
It's not my favorite season. Nope.
True confessions, everyone.
Yep, it's totally true. My favorite is spring because there's flowers.
Mine too.
Yeah.
Because it's the end of winter
I
and it's the
know.
promise of warmth.
Yeah. And so we were kind of just joking. I don't even know when it was, but we were like, oh man, it's starting to get dark. Okay, I got to start gearing up for it, like mentally. I got to really start thinking about what to do this winter to get through winter.
It's hard too. We, in our particular geographic area, and not, I'm sure most of our listeners don't experience this, but we have what's called an inversion. And that's when warmer air kind of comes through, but it traps the colder air on the bottom of the valley floor because we live in a valley surrounded by super high mountains that are about 10-ish thousand feet. Yeah. 8 to 10,000 feet.
So it's a bowl. If you can think about it as a bowl, like the sides of the bowl are.
And we're at the bottom of it.
Yeah.
And so anytime any kind of weather comes through, it basically like if it snowed, then it's going to trap that cold, the snow that's sticking on the ground, it traps it. Then people drive their cars and it just gets polluted and stuff like that.
It just gets smoggier and smoggier.
So when we go up to places like up a canyon, say to Park City, Utah, you can see the sun and it's just slightly warmer.
Well, and it's
just by a couple degrees, but like you can breathe better.
Yeah.
You can actually see the sun.
And it's delightful.
And the sky.
Yep.
And it's not just gray
yep.
and gross.
And so we had this discussion about how miserable it is sometimes to go through winters in Utah. And I'm sure there's other places that winters can be brutal.
Thank goodness I don't live in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Sorry for all of you Minnesotites.
Or Wisconsin or Michigan. I hear
Nebraska.
It's pretty,
like, I don't know.
Like
there's other states that suffer worse.
Yes. I should not be complaining, but it's mostly because of the dark.
Yeah.
I don't do super well with that. So, and I learned that when I was living in Russia, when I was like, what is going on with me? What's going on with me?
Aww.
I was really struggling. And then I realized after when it started getting lighter, I was like, oh, it's probably because I didn't have enough light in my life. So anyway.
Yeah. Vitamin D deficiency gets common in the winter time, I think.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about this concept of hue-gah.
Yes.
And I didn't know a lick about it. And apparently it's not just it's not only a Danish thing. The Swedes have it. Mm-hmm. The Norse people in Norway. Sorry, you guys.
The Norse.
They also have something like that as well. And I looked it up, and you're going to laugh at me. All you Norse and Swedish people, you're going to laugh and say winter. That's not.
Do they have a word for?
They do. So apparently in Norwegian, it is koselig. Mm. It's spelled Koselig. And then in Swedish, it's mysigd, Mysigt. I don't think I said that correctly, so I apologize. But let's talk about it. What is this, and why are we specifically talking about this on a food podcast?
So, hygge, there isn't a direct English translation from the Danish.
Hygge?
Hygge. I said hygge.
Yeah.
Because I'm reading the word.
Yeah.
That just is what. So hue-gah, there's not a direct translation to English, but some synonyms are cozy and warmth.
Right.
But it's this whole lifestyle ideal that the Danes embrace. And I think most northern countries like that embrace, where it's dark and it's cold.
For like 9 months out of the year.
Yeah, they have those polar nights or whatever. Mm-hmm. And Denmark, I don't know if you know this, but they are frequently ranked as the happiest country in the world.
Oh, yeah.
And
how was that possible? Kind of like, that's what I think.
They are also number one in the purchaser of candles in all of Europe.
Oh, really?
Yes. I thought that was also interesting about that. For a hue-gah.
Oh.
To create a hygge atmosphere. So hygge is a verb. Mm-hmm. I interviewed my Danish friend, Kira. Shout out. Hi.
Hey, Kira.
So I interviewed her. Her family is from Denmark. Mm-hmm. She's lived in Denmark. She's fluent in Danish. Her grandparents are from there. Her dad, all of his side of the family is from there. She has aunts and uncles there that she goes and visits, and it's great. But it's this lifestyle idea that you create this environment that you're present in the moment. You live in the moment. You're very present. You kind of relax a little. pull back. It's not as scheduled and busy. It's kind of like just a freer way of being, a happier way of being. Yeah. So some American definitions of hygge. It's the art of building sanctuary and community, of inviting closeness and paying attention to what makes you feel open and alive. It's a well-being, connection, and warmth, and it's being present in the moment. So they purchase a lot of candles to create an atmosphere.
Oh, yeah. And
so
candles
the second largest consumer country in Europe for candles is Austria. But Denmark buys twice as much as they do.
Oh, really? Yeah. Just because they like to create that atmosphere.
Yeah. I mean, they go through candles apparently. So it's kind of cool. Let's see. A food plays a central role in hygge. And food and people play a central role, and not just strangers on the street, but inviting people into your home, gathering with the ones that you love. Hygge isn't about being by yourself. It's about being sociable and making a connection with other people. And so I think that is awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome, because one of the things that I do to quote unquote get through the winter is I make a point to throw parties on a regular basis in the wintertime.
Yeah.
Because it invites some little bit of happiness, I guess, and camaraderie in the dark winter months. So
yeah,
I really like that idea of having people and food gatherings.
Well,
in a sense, you know.
Yeah, it's a balance. So you create hygge inside, but so in these Northern European countries, they actually don't have a lot of cars. They rely on transit, but they also ride their bikes everywhere. So they're outside, they're still in the sun, and there's that saying, I don't know if you know it, but there's no such thing as bad weather, only bad gear.
Yeah, I guess that's right?
So I mean, they bundle up and they stay warm and they ride their bikes to work, and the Danes work less hours typically than Americans do in a week.
Yeah.
Their typical work week is about 33 hours.
Oh, man.
35 or something. And they usually work from 8 to 4, but there's a large break in that time.
Also for lunch and just rest.
Food plays a big role in hygge. You gather with other people and you share your food, but lunch and dinner can take 2 hours because of the talking that happens and the type of food that's shared. They share hot drinks like coffee and tea, but they also share wine and beer, and they share platters of charcuterie, the cheeses and meats.
And just breads crackers, right?
Yeah, and roasted vegetables and things like that. Things that they take a while to cook, and you eat in courses kind of a thing, and it just sits out, and you take the time to connect, and you surround yourself with a cozy atmosphere. You're in cozy chairs around the dining room table, but you're still comfortable, and you sit and you be with each other.
You just are. Yeah. Okay. And so let's back up then. What kind of foods are are there specific foods that are known to be in the Danish diet that gets served at these things?
So potatoes are big. Baked goods like pastries and cookies and things like that are also big. So hygge is indulgence, but it's not gluttonous. So as Americans, from the months of November to January, I'd say especially, we experience a lot of gluttony.
Yeah, there's
for all of the holidays that are involved, all of the gatherings that we're invited to. But it's different because we go. You know, we've got, I have a Christmas party this day and a Hanukkah party that day and a work get together this day, and we're doing a gift exchange, and you know, I've got something Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and they're less scheduled.
Right.
And it's more, they just have a calmer way about them. And it's less gluttonous. Like, it's not all of the cakes and cookies and cheeses and stuff like that. They still are able to create good food and share it, but they don't eat all of that food. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't need to eat. Trying to one up each other and having like 7 desserts or whatever.
They just have something. Well, it sounds like, and kind of what I've read is that whatever food they have, it is nutritious. It's comforting in a sense, not in the sense of like comfort food, because I also, in researching this topic, was like, there's a psychology to comfort food that I think of. Like when I think of comfort food, I'm like, oh, mac and cheese and you know,
it's not all carbs.
Yeah, I think of comfort foods that way, but I don't think the food for hygge is that. Am I mistaken?
No,
it sounds
right.
like it's just food that is, it's good, it's nutritious, it might be warm and comforting to your soul, but it's not associated with nostalgia. It's not associated with some sort of psychological need to be comforted because you're sad, or
it's not
you want to
Ben
remember.
And Jerry's.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm kind of getting at, is that I don't think the food that is usually eaten in these Scandinavian countries is necessarily the comfort food that I think of.
Right. They eat a lot of meats and cheeses, open face sandwiches, charcuterie plates, stews, roasts and things like that, roasted fish, that kind of thing. They'd also drink a lot of hot drinks, mulled wine, coffee, teas, all sorts of teas, herbal teas, green teas, things like that.
That sounds comforting still.
Yeah. And so you're still getting a comfort food in a sense, but it isn't coming from ice cream or something as decadent as homemade mac and cheese.
Yeah. One of the articles that I read that I thought was really cool. Now this is based in Norway, and the writer Carrie Leibowitz, she was a Fulbright scholar, and so she was going to do some research in the town. It's just outside of the Arctic Circle. It's called Tromsø, Norway. I'm not saying that right, I'm sure.
So it's way up north.
Yep, it's TROMS with a O with a slash in it. And they basically have those polar nights. And she had arrived in the country like at the beginning of the summer, and she found some roommates and was trying to set up what she was trying to do her research on. And the research was going to talk about like wintertime depression and how this little city, this town of, I think there's like 70,000 people in it, but they experience way less wintertime depression than other places that are at the same latitude. So, and I thought this was so interesting, was that she was talking to her roommate who was from Australia, and this Australian transplant had been there for 5 years. And she was asking this roommate was asking the author of this article about like, hey, how long are you going to stay here? Are you going to stay for the year? And she's like, oh yeah, I'm going to stay for the year, but I'm probably going to stay a little bit longer. Like, because there's kind of this joke that there's only 2 seasons. It's a long winter and a brief summer. Like that's basically what it is.
Sure.
And then the author said it would be a shame to make it through the winter only to leave right before the best season. And then this roommate of hers, without even pausing, said, I wouldn't necessarily say summer is the best season. And I thought that was interesting, because I think with my mindset that I think, yeah, definitely I look forward to spring. Winter is definitely not the best season.
Aww.
But it's nice to think about how the mindset is kind of a big thing. It's a science, I think, is that if you can change your mindset about something, then you can make something better and go into it that way.
Oh, sure. You can definitely make it more enjoyable.
Yeah.
That's so part of hygge is that Danes are really active and they get outside. They commute. I mean, most of them work outside the home. And so they're riding their bikes to work, they're walking to work, things like that. And they're staying warm while they do it, but they're still getting sun and things like that. And they're active outside of their commute.
Right.
You know, they're out skiing and they're skating and doing all these other fun activities together.
Yes.
And
working up an appetite.
Yeah, working up an appetite. And then you come home to your cozy home and you just gather and create this atmosphere of connection and coziness and warmth.
You know, I think it's kind of natural also for when you do those gatherings for food to naturally show up that. And I think that's what is so appealing about having, creating an environment that is hygge-centric.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to call that.
Yeah, I think you can definitely create a hygge environment or hygge environment in your home. to help you hygge better. I think that definitely involves candles.
Okay.
Or like diffuser oils, because it's very sensory. So they dim the lighting and they light a fire in the fireplace.
Yeah.
They light a candle. I don't have a fireplace.
I've
but
got a fireplace.
I've got candles. Yeah, you should use your fireplace
We should use
more.
our fireplace more.
And they create this atmosphere. They also use like scented oils and stuff like that. They're not using like the fake scented candles either. They're using more natural things to freshen the air and stuff like that because they want to see this cozy atmosphere. They want to, they just use so many senses in hygge. There's also the sense of touch. A lot of people swap out their textiles in their home. So they've got like some summer textiles and winter textiles.
Oh.
And the winter ones are softer. They're warmer.
Yeah.
They've got like the wool blankets, but the merino wool. So it's softer, it's plush. Yeah. You've got your cozy slippers and sweaters, rugs and things like that. But then those get swapped out in the summertime for things that are cooler.
Okay. So there's also...
So there's the sense of touch and like physical warmth in that. There's, you're swapping out your fluorescent lights for some flickering candle light, flickering fires. You're smelling good food cooking. You're smelling the fire in the fireplace. You're smelling maybe your diffuser oil going, that kind of thing. And then they drink warm drinks. They're drinking their tea and their coffee, and they're inviting people over
to do the exact same thing.
Yeah, people that they live with or neighbors or friends, relatives, that kind of thing, to share and partake of this great moment that, that they're having, which is life.
Which is not anything planned either.
Not necessarily.
That's one thing I was when I was reading.
They still have planned activities that they do and stuff like that. It's not that they never adhere to a schedule.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem like...
But it's less rushing around.
Yeah, exactly. That's one thing I kind of love about that. It's not like, okay, now we got to go do this. Now we got to do this. Okay, now we're going to eat dinner here at this time. And then we'll finish up and clean up in an hour and stuff like that. It doesn't seem like that at all. And I think one of my things have been with kind of the new year was to talk about, well, for me anyway, to set a goal to be a little bit more in the moment. And when you do your dinner parties, when you do have people over, take the time to sit with them, take the time to sit with your people and talk with them and actually listen and
create
relax.
A memory.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they're doing is they're stopping, taking the time. They're putting their phones away. They're putting their gadgets away and they're creating a memory. They're playing games with each other.
Yeah.
They're talking and connecting.
Yeah, I don't like that because I think food does that a lot. There's something about sitting around a table and sitting and eating and talking
and breaking bread together. That's we made this together or you made this for us kind of a thing. There's a gratitude involved. There's a lot to it. I love that.
That is awesome. What a great way to start the new year.
Yeah. So if you want to hygge, you can. One of the number one things they do is they eat well. They are well nourished. They make sure that they're, getting breakfast, lunch, and dinner type of a thing and not skipping meals. They're getting outside, being active, and they are sociable. They're relaxed. They're in the present moment and they're lingering. They're lingering. Yeah. And I think a good goal for the new year is to maybe schedule some technology-free hours in your day.
Oh man, that's a great idea.
That's to help you just connect with yourself and with those around you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's a good.
But another thing that Danes do in their homes is they bring the outside in and they decorate with a lot of plants, flowers, natural wreaths, and boughs. I notice in Winter's home, if you guys have never been in her home, which I'm sure most of you haven't, but she's got some greenery up. She had some flowers, but saved the greenery, and it's gorgeous.
Yeah,
there's these really evergreen boughs that came with the floral arrangement. Yeah. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, there's something about having a little bit of greenery in your home, I think.
Well, it's a connection to nature. you're not just in this sterile environment.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it makes the home warmer.
Sweet. So Sharon, curious. I'm a themed party person.
Oh yeah.
So what you're saying is that if I wanted to throw a hygge gathering,
Yes.
then I can probably pull it off pretty easily.
You could. So I've been in your home several times where I've felt a hygge-like atmosphere.
Oh, good. Yay. I'm glad to hear that.
Especially when we've done kind of like girls' nights where we've turned on the fireplace and sat on the cushy floor.
Yep.
She's got a really pretty good carpet pad and textiles in her living room.
Yeah.
The carpet's really nice. It reminds me of my friend Brownie Lox's carpet, who I've slept on tons of times. But Chinese New Year, the hot pot, there's people gathered around the hot pot talking and cooking food together.
Yeah.
And trying different combinations together.
Yeah.
That's totally a hygge-y thing.
Sweet. Yes. I think, though, the next time I have the Chinese New Year party with the hot pot, I'm going to have to bust out some candles, though.
Oh, I think that would be awesome.
Turn down the lights a little, candles.
Yeah. So Winter has these awesome, I don't know, what do you use for your hot pots? Like their actual
hot pot pots.
Yeah. Which can be kind of expensive for our average listener, possibly.
No, they're not bad.
Oh, really?
If you go to the Asian store, you can pick one up for like $30.
Oh, well, there you go.
It's pretty cheap, actually. It's not bad.
Nice.
That was one of my kitchen tools that I don't want to give up, even though I use it like twice a year. Is the hot pot.
But it adds a lot of value when you use it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So another thing, if you're not into hot pot, don't have a hot pot, aren't interested in hot pot, at home, you could do a potluck gathering.
Mm-hmm.
Have everybody, you could create a theme, maybe a winter theme, whatever you'd like.
Oh, yeah.
Have a hot chocolate bar.
Oh, yes.
Have a s'mores bar where you can turn your gas stove on and make some s'mores inside.
I was going to say, I feel like you can just even get little candles and roast it over a candle.
You probably could. You could probably do that.
I totally love the s'mores bar.
Yeah.
That would be really fun.
Have a winter camping indoors party type of a thing and have some s'mores. But with your hot chocolate bar, I think hot chocolate kind of appeals to the masses.
Yeah.
Young and old.
Yep.
You could have your friends could bring treats to share and you could provide the hot chocolate at pretty low cost. Just make some in the crock pot.
Yeah.
Have some mix-ins, some different flavored syrups, marshmallows, different types of toppings, cinnamon sticks, that kind of whipped cream. Just go all out. It's all over Pinterest. You should check it out. So is the s'mores bar. S'mores bar, you could make that gluten-free.
Oh, yeah.
You could do different types of candies in there. It's awesome.
Yeah. That is awesome. And then, so we have some, because the warm drinks definitely are a big thing for hygge. Having kind of little, kind of smaller plates that you can nibble on.
Yeah, but have plenty of food.
Yeah.
Be able to go back for more and linger and invite your people. Invite your tribe, the people that support you and love you, but that you never see, which I'm totally guilty of. And I'm really sorry.
Okay. I think I have another thought that you could maybe do food wise is that I think you should make a stew because I think that would be really easy to feed people, but it's you can make a lot of soup in a short amount of time.
Totally.
And you're not slaving over it. Some stew and a crusty loaf of bread or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be so good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cook together even. Schedule a cooking date with your friend.
Sweet.
Just, have a bake off. Have something have some type of a cooking challenge in your kitchen, but do it together.
Sweet. Okay. Well, I feel like I'm going to make a goal to have a hygge gathering that is not so intense. It'll be relaxed. That's the problem. Sometimes when I do gatherings, it seems a little intense to me, the person that is hosting.
Make it easier on yourself and invite less people.
Yeah, I probably should do that.
Make it so you don't have to have such a hostess mentality.
Yeah.
Just, you love most of your friends enough that they don't care whether your home is messy or clean.
Yeah. Thank goodness. Thanks, friends, for being nice to me.
But invite them in.
Yeah.
Just, it doesn't have to be, okay, we have this, we have this, we have this. Does everybody have what they need?
Mhm.
Okay, I'm on call for whatever you need.
Right.
Just kind of lay it out and be casual and circulate. And just circulate, but plop yourself on the ground. Plop yourself in your favorite chair.
With a blanket and fuzzy socks. Oh, maybe that's what'll be a requirement. When you come, you have to wear fuzzy socks.
Yeah. And if you don't have any, get some. REI has my favorite fuzzy socks. They're hiking socks and they're about $15, but it's the best $15 you'll ever spend.
She wears them for podcasting because it's so dang cold in her house.
But it's awesome and I'm always happy because I've got my socks.
Sweet. Okay. Is there anything else I need to know about hue-gah?
Let's see. Get some cozy blankets. Costco's got some that are great that are less than $20.
Yeah, those like
those fleecy, fuzzy ones that feel like a big kid's stuffed animal. They're awesome.
If you can get it in Snuggie or Slanket form, good on you.
IKEA's got tons of tea lights you can get.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like I could do this.
Totally could.
I could totally be a Scandinavian person.
Yeah.
So one of the things so Lee and I have been to Iceland before. And that is, Iceland and the Faroe Islands kind of get lumped into the Scandinavian countries. Mm-hmm. And they kind of do the same, like there's that same feeling, I think, in the winter time. Because
cold and dark. Make it cozy.
Mm-hmm. And Lee was like, winter, we should go live in Iceland because we loved it that much. It was in August that we went and it was lovely.
Awesome.
It was cool. Of course, it was in the 60s most of the time.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't bad. And there was plenty of sunlight in August, but he's like, we should live there. And I was like, that would be great. And then I got to thinking about how dark it gets there. And I think that, and I told him, I was like, I don't think I can live there. Like, I really don't think I can because I do struggle with how dark it gets here in Utah at our latitude. I don't know if I could handle it being that dark there. And now that we've had this discussion, I actually think it could be still a possibility now because I think they approach winter differently. They approach it not as the worst season. So
they don't keep themselves clustered inside either.
They go out. They go out and they keep themselves busy. So
I think you have a polar bear plunge scheduled soon.
Yes, we are going to be doing that, and I love that. I think it's fun. Right? I'm ready. I got to mentally gear up for it. So. We'll let you know how that goes next time. Anyway, so, okay, well.
Let us know if you've got any ideas for how to hygge.
Yes.
And how you're going to hygge over the winter and into the new year.
Yeah. Make it a goal to be cozy. Enjoy the season because that's my goal, is to enjoy winter for once.
Let's have a food fight.
Food fight, food fight, food fight, food fight. It's winter.
This is the segment where you can email us with your relationship questions relating to food. You can email us at hungrysquared@gmail.com.
Disclaimer, we are in no way professional relationship experts, but you should totally listen to us anyway. If you need professional help, please seek it out.
Food fight, food fight, food fight. The food fight segment of the show. Here we go.
Winter, where's this week's question coming from?
Okay, so it's kind of a New Year's question.
Oh, okay.
So it says, "Hi, Winter and Sharon. I've gotten stuck in a food rut. Lately, I've been eating about the same stuff and it's gotten boring and tedious. So one of my goals for the new year is to branch out and be more adventurous in what I eat. Any suggestions to do this? By the way, I'm young and single, so I'm just cooking for myself most times. Thanks, ladies." And she signed off as Goal Getter Girl.
Nice.
Goal Getter Girl. Okay. Oh, food ruts.
And she wants to branch out.
Branch out. Be more adventurous. Let's be honest though. We all get into food ruts, even if you're not young and single.
Yep.
Yeah. But the way we've kind of combated that is I have made a goal once a week to try a new recipe.
Oh, really?
In the Instant Pot.
Yes.
Because you guys, I got an Instant Pot.
Is it still going well?
It's going, I haven't done anything this week because it was just, it was a little crazy. So I still have a few days to complete my goal.
Okay.
But my goal was to go find a recipe because I still there's a little bit of adventure in the Instant Pot because I still don't know how to use all of its functions and
Right.
know how to tweak it
Right.
perfectly. So I have been exploring a little bit more. There are a lot of resources online. Obviously, Kathy Hester's book is coming out, the Instant Pot book, her vegan cookbook that is based solely for the Instant Pot. And so just like approaching it one recipe at a time, I think is the best way to do it, because it can be kind of overwhelming if you're like, okay, I'm going to make this on Monday and this on Tuesday and this on Wednesday.
And then on Friday comes around and you end up eating cereal.
Well, and then,
It's too overwhelming.
you're burned out and you're like, I just bought all these groceries and I just don't want to cook now.
Right.
So I made a goal just to do one recipe, and that's been really fun because I've gotten to be creative, a little bit of a scientist as I've tried to figure out the pressure and the heat, but then also, I don't get overwhelmed, and then I'm like, don't have to think about the other days, because I'm like, oh yeah, I can make this dish, or Lee's planning on making this because he it's a go-to and it's a good one. It's an oldie but a goodie.
Yeah, I don't think that go-to recipes should be canceled out entirely.
Yeah.
But I think it's awesome to branch out because that's how you get more go-to recipes. But yeah, I think tackling it on a once a week basis is great.
Yes.
Because it gives you time to focus more on that particular dish and to be able to perfect that the next time you make it.
Well, and if you're like, this was a good one, then you can put it into your rotation really easily.
Right. If it was easy for you to make, it's convenient, you really loved it, that kind of thing. Yeah, for sure. Then you can just add that to the rotation. You can make it next week and then tackle a new one. Yeah. Next week as well.
Are there any recipes or things that you do that have been a good suggestion to try, that have been surprisingly adventurous for you? Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I've tried to branch out recently in making more curries.
Oh.
And more ethnic food at home.
Okay.
So we recently had pad thai. And we really liked it.
And it went well.
And I'm very impressed with the boys for eating it and liking it.
Oh, good.
So I was kind of afraid. I mean, pad thai is like a basic Thai dish, but with two really picky eaters, one's getting a lot less picky,
right? But
one's still extremely picky, and very suspicious of anything that doesn't look familiar to him. It's hard. It can be hard, but I do know that both of the boys will eat curry, which is odd to me, but I'm very grateful.
I feel like curry is a comfort food.
It can be,
at least for me anyway. Sure. So I think it's a perfect winter food. So
yeah, they like a sweet and spicy type of sauce, but you can't really call it a sauce. You just, this is curry, because if you say, oh, it's sauce, he's like, I don't want sauce. I don't want any sauce. But he'll say
semantics.
Oh, it totally is. I'm like, nope, there's no sauce.
But it is a curry.
It's like
basically
a
a
stew.
stew.
Like, I don't know what you mean by sauce. Just can't have any condiment on it.
Sweet. I think that is a great suggestion, is to try something international. Something that is not, well, and I guess we don't know enough about goal-getter girl to know what she regularly eats. But one way to do is do a cuisine that you're not familiar with and go buy some spices. I know spices are expensive, especially when you're young and single.
Sprouts Supermarkets sells kind of like a bulk spices. They're in their jarred spices are less expensive than most other supermarkets. So that's an option. They also have kind of like bulk seasoning. They're just in a plastic bag.
Oh, well,
so
that
you
works.
have to store it in like
you have to go get your own jar or whatever.
Yeah. So like just put it in a Tupperware or something like that. It's fine. It's good to go. But they're super cheap. And some of like the ethnic markets, like the Mexican market by my house, or those Asian markets that are scattered throughout the valley, I know that they sometimes have spices that's less expensive.
I would say that's where we get
than
them.
Your standard grocery store.
I know that you can buy some spices online as well, and they you don't need to get a ton of them either. Think about it, because spices go a long way, and a lot of times you have to throw them out after 6 months is kind of the general rule of thumb to keep them quote unquote fresh. I don't do that necessarily.
No, I've had some that are much older than that.
Yeah, mine are too. But I think that's kind of the rule that they say to get full flavor. But you can get some things online also pretty quickly.
Yeah, I like try some spices.
Yeah.
They're an online store.
Oh, sweet.
So
Okay.
they have a lot of hard to find ingredients too that can be less expensive as well.
Great. Okay. The other thing I would maybe suggest to young and single is you should go try some new restaurants too.
Yeah.
Because you can totally get into a food rut with like places you go out to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can tell you the 5 places that we've eaten out at, and they're all our regular places.
Yeah.
And I think you can get into a food rut with that stuff. Like even when you're going out with friends, like you can like, oh yeah, we're just going to go to the neighborhood pizza joint or whatever. But why don't you try something a little different? Why don't you go to...
Check out what's new in your town.
Mhm.
If you don't know, then look at your city's independent newspaper. It's usually free circulation
Mhm.
at supermarkets and coffee shops and stuff like that. And check it out. They usually have a food critic.
Yeah.
And they will talk about the new restaurants in town
Mhm.
and what's gotten rave reviews, and just pick one that you haven't been to.
Yeah, just give it a try and ask the wait staff what their favorite thing is and just give that a try, because you'd be surprised. Like they'll tell you like, this is my favorite thing.
And
period.
after looking at the menu, sometimes it's not what you'd expect.
Yep, it's not the most expensive thing.
Right.
It's probably one of the lesser expensive things because
Mhm.
it's just good and hearty and whatever.
Yeah.
So try a different restaurant. Like ask your buddies to go somewhere different with you.
Yeah.
Or ask them for a recommendation because they could maybe introduce you to somewhere new. So
I think that's great. And that'll expose you to new cuisine. And you could kind of judge like, oh, can I recreate this at home?
Yeah.
And maybe look for some recipes that's based around your new favorite cuisine.
yeah, I think that's a good idea. I can get into food ruts. I'm kind of glad that we got this question.
Yeah. It
'Cause
kind of reminds you not to get into a food
Yeah.
rut. Reminds you what to do. Like,
Ex-
hey, am I there right now? I might be.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. So thanks for sending in that question, goal getter girl. I'm proud of you for setting a goal about your food. I think that's awesome. Hey, like you should try some other, try going vegetarian,
Oh, yeah.
Try-
Try something.
try
without meat.
paleo,
Mhm.
try whatever, just try something different that way too. That's a good way
Yeah.
of,
Try something vegan.
yeah.
How do they live?
How do
Without
those,
cheese?
how do those vegans live? Yeah.
Pretty well, actually.
Yeah, I think they do. They're probably healthier than I am. So
Mhm.
anyway, okay, I think that's good. If you guys have any other suggestions, we'd love to hear what you have to say because we love hearing what your questions are, but we also love hearing like, hey, you should tell this on the air because this is a good way to get out of a food rut, whatever. Any suggestions, we love them.
Yeah, drop us a line at hungrysquared@gmail.com. Thanks for joining us today for our show. You can find us on hungrysquared.com, on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play Music.
You guys, we would love for you to share our podcast with your food nerdy friends and family. You should make that a goal this year. A goal.
Share us.
Yeah.
Build the community.
Yay. We're excited for what we've done so far, and we're excited to enter
Where
this
we're
new
headed in 2017.
Yeah, it's going to be so fun. So once again, send us your ideas, subscribe to the podcast, and we'll see you next week for the next episode of Food Nerdery.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Bye.
Hungry squared, yeah, hungry squared.